First contact, the Zephyrian encounter. In the vast expanse of the Orion Arm, humanity had spread across dozens of star systems, blissfully unaware of the galactic community that surrounded them. It was the year 2184, and the United Earth Federation, UEF, had just established its furthest colony on the lush world of Nova Terra, a mere 50 light-years from Sol. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UEF Pathfinder, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. Her dark eyes scanned the holographic displays, taking in the swirling azure atmosphere of Nova Terra below. "Status report, Lieutenant Chen," she ordered, her voice steady despite the excitement bubbling within her. "All systems nominal, Captain," Chen responded, his fingers dancing across the control panel. "The terraforming beacons are online and transmitting data. Nova Terra is ready for the first wave of colonists." Elena allowed herself a small smile. This mission had been years in the making, and its success would mark a new chapter in human history. Little did she know, history was about to take an unexpected turn. "Captain, we're picking up an anomalous reading," the sensor officer, Ensign Yuki Tanaka, called out suddenly. Her brow furrowed as she studied her console. It's not like anything I've ever seen before." Elena strode over to Yuki's station, her heart rate quickening. "Can you identify the source?" "Negative, Captain. It's not matching any known signatures in our database, but it's massive and it's approaching fast." The bridge fell silent as the crew processed this information. Elena's mind raced through the possibilities. A new type of celestial body, an unknown natural phenomenon, or perhaps... "Put it on screen," she ordered, her voice barely above a whisper. The main view screen flickered to life, and collective gasps filled the bridge. There, emerging from the inky blackness of space, was an object that defied explanation. It was sleek, elongated, and seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly iridescence. As it drew closer, its true scale became apparent. It dwarfed the Pathfinder by several orders of magnitude. "My God," Chen breathed. "It's a ship." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. After centuries of speculation and search, humanity was about to make first contact with an alien civilization. She straightened her uniform, acutely aware that her next actions could shape the course of human history. "Open all frequencies," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth Federation vessel Pathfinder. We come in peace and extend greetings on behalf of humanity." For several agonizing moments, there was no response. The alien vessel continued its approach, its surface rippling like liquid metal in the starlight. Then, without warning, a beam of soft, blue light enveloped the Pathfinder. "Captain, we're being scanned," Yuki reported, her fingers flying over her console. "Our systems are still operational, but... wait, something's happening to our communication array." Before Elena could respond, a melodious, almost musical voice filled the bridge. It spoke in perfect English, though with an odd, lilting cadence that was distinctly inhuman. "Greetings, humans of the Pathfinder. We are the Zephyrians, travelers of the cosmic winds. Your presence here is unexpected." Elena took a deep breath, steadying herself. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you, Zephyrians. We are explorers and seekers of knowledge. We come with peaceful intentions and hope to establish friendly relations." There was a pause, and Elena could almost feel the weight of unseen eyes upon her. When the Zephyrian voice spoke again, there was a hint of amusement in its tone. "Peaceful intentions, how quaint. Tell us, Captain Elena Rodriguez, are all humans as optimistic as you?" The question caught Elena off guard. She glanced at her crew, seeing her own mixture of excitement and apprehension reflected in their eyes. "We are a diverse species," she replied carefully, "but we share a common desire for understanding and cooperation." "Interesting," the Zephyrian voice mused. "Your species is unknown to us, yet you've managed to achieve interstellar travel. This is unusual. Perhaps we have misjudged the development of this sector." Elena's mind raced with questions. How advanced were the Zephyrians? How many other alien species existed? And why did they seem surprised by humanity's presence? We would be honored to exchange knowledge and culture with you, Elena offered, hoping to steer the conversation towards more concrete terms. Perhaps we could arrange a face-to-face meeting. There was a long pause, and for a moment, Elena feared she had overstepped. Then, the Zephyrian voice returned, tinged with what could only be described as curiosity. Your offer is accepted, Captain. Prepare a delegation. We will meet on the surface of the world you call Nova Terra. There is much to discuss. With that, the communication cut off, and the blue scanning beam dissipated. The massive Zephyrian ship began to descend towards Nova Terra, its hull seeming to ripple and shift as it moved through the planet's atmosphere. Elena turned to her crew, seeing a mix of excitement and trepidation on their faces. Well, she said, a wry smile tugging at her lips, it looks like our mission parameters have changed. Lieutenant Chen, contact UEF Command. Inform them of our situation and request instructions. Ensign Tanaka, begin compiling all the data we've gathered on the Zephyrians. The rest of you, prepare for planetary landing. It seems we have a diplomatic mission to attend to. As the crew sprang into action, Elena gazed out at the alien ship now hovering above Nova Terra's surface. In a matter of hours, humanity had gone from being alone in the universe to standing on the threshold of a galactic community. The implications were staggering, and Elena knew that every word, every action in the coming meeting could have far-reaching consequences. She thought of the generations of humans who had looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone. Of the scientists, philosophers, and dreamers who had imagined this very moment. Now, it fell to her and her crew to make that first crucial impression. As the Pathfinder began its descent towards the designated landing zone, Elena felt a mixture of pride and humility wash over her. Whatever happened next, humanity was about to take its first steps onto a much larger stage, and she, Elena Rodriguez, would be there to witness it all. Little did she know, this encounter was just the beginning. The galaxy was a far more complex and dangerous place than anyone on Earth had ever imagined, and humanity's entrance onto the cosmic stage was about to send shockwaves through carefully balanced alliances and ancient feuds alike. The age of Earth's isolation was over, and the true test of humanity's mettle was about to begin. The human element, unexpected allies. The azure skies of Nova Terra churned with activity as the UEF Pathfinder touched down on the planet's surface, kicking up swirls of violet dust. Captain Elena Rodriguez led her small delegation towards the designated meeting point, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The looming silhouette of the Zephyrian ship cast long shadows across the alien landscape, its iridescent hull shimmering like a mirage. As they approached, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The Zephyrians had been almost too accommodating, too curious about humanity's sudden appearance in this sector of space. Her instincts, honed by years of command, screamed that there was more to this situation than met the eye. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble. Elena's hand flew to her sidearm as fissures appeared in the earth, spreading like spider webs across the violet soil. "Back to the ship," she shouted, but it was too late. With a deafening roar, the ground split open, and massive, segmented tentacles erupted from beneath the surface. They writhed and thrashed, sending plumes of dust into the air and cutting off the humans' escape route. "It's a trap," Lieutenant Chen yelled, his voice barely audible over the chaos. "The Zephyrians, they're not what they seem." As if on cue, the sleek exterior of the Zephyrian ship began to shift and morph. Its smooth lines fragmented into jagged edges, and what they had thought were windows now glowed with an eerie, pulsating light. It was as if the vessel itself was coming alive. Elena's mind raced. They were outgunned, outmaneuvered, and facing an enemy they knew nothing about. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was adapting to impossible situations. "Chen, Tanaka, deploy the EMP grenades." Elena ordered, her voice cutting through the panic. It was a desperate move. Their own tech would be affected, but it might just give them a fighting chance. As the electromagnetic pulses rippled through the air, the tentacles spasmed and recoiled. The transformed Zephyrian ship flickered and groaned, its systems momentarily disrupted. Elena seized the opportunity, leading her team through the momentary gap in the writhing mass of tentacles. But their reprieve was short-lived. As they sprinted towards the Pathfinder, a piercing shriek filled the air. Elena looked up to see three sleek, predatory shapes detach from the Zephyrian ship and streak towards them. They moved with impossible speed, their forms blurring as they closed in on the fleeing humans. "Incoming," Ensign Tanaka shouted, her eyes wide with fear. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, the impossible happened. A blinding flash of light erupted from the far side of the clearing, and one of the pursuing shapes exploded in a shower of metallic fragments. The other two broke off their attack, wheeling around to face this new threat. Elena and her team skidded to a halt, watching in awe as a new player entered the fray. It was a ship, but unlike anything they had ever seen. Its design was organic, almost alive, with sweeping lines and pulsating bioluminescent patterns. It moved with a grace that defied its size, effortlessly outmaneuvering the remaining Zephyrian attackers. A crackling voice came through on their comms, speaking in a language that was definitely not English, yet somehow, Elena found she could understand it. "Humans of Earth, hold fast. We are the Sylvari, and we come to aid you. The Zephyrians are not what they claim to be. They are the vanguard of the Nexeron Collective, a parasitic hive mind that seeks to consume all in its path." As the voice spoke, the Sylvari ship engaged in an intricate aerial dance with the Zephyrian attackers. Beams of coherent light lashed out, slicing through the enemy craft with surgical precision. On the ground, the massive tentacles began to retreat, burrowing back into the earth as if fleeing from an unseen threat. Elena made a split-second decision. "Everyone, to the Sylvari ship," she commanded. It was a risk, trusting these unknown aliens, but right now, they were the only hope of survival. As they ran towards their potential saviors, Elena's mind whirled with questions. Who were the Sylvari? How did they know about Earth? And what in the name of all that was holy was the Nexeron Collective? The bottom of the Sylvari ship seemed to liquefy, forming a shimmering portal. Without hesitation, Elena and her team leaped through, finding themselves in a cavernous, organic-looking interior that pulsed with soft, bioluminescent light. As the portal sealed behind them, Elena came face to face with their rescuers. The Sylvari were tall, willowy beings with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes. They moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost choreographed. One of them stepped forward, its form shimmering slightly as if not quite solid. "Captain Elena Rodriguez," it said, its voice resonating not through the air, but directly in Elena's mind. "We apologize for the abruptness of our intervention, but time is of the essence. The galaxy stands on the brink of a war unlike any it has seen in millennia, and humanity, unknowingly, holds the key to its resolution." Elena straightened, acutely aware that she now represented all of humanity in this moment. "On behalf of Earth, I thank you for your aid," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. "But I think you owe us an explanation. What's really going on here?" The Sylvari's eyes seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "Of course. But first, we must retreat to safer space. The Nexeron Collective will not give up easily, and your world is now in grave danger." As if to punctuate the Sylvari's words, the ship shuddered under the impact of weapons fire. Through a translucent section of the hull, Elena could see the the Nexeron, ship rising from the surface of Nova Terra, its form now a nightmarish amalgamation of organic and mechanical parts. "Hold on," the Sylvari warned, and suddenly, the stars outside seemed to stretch and blur. Elena felt a momentary sensation of vertigo, and then stillness. When she looked again, Nova Terra was gone. In its place was a vast star field unlike anything she had ever seen, filled with swirling nebulae and impossibly close, vibrant stars. The Silvari turned to Elena and her stunned crew, its expression unreadable, but its mental voice tinged with both urgency and hope. "Welcome, humans, to the heart of the Silvari conclave. It is here that we will tell you of the great conflict that has raged across the stars for eons, and of the unique role that humanity is destined to play." As Elena absorbed the aliens' words, she realized that everything she thought she knew about humanity's place in the universe was about to change. They had set out to colonize a new world, but instead, they had stumbled into a galactic war. And somehow, improbably, humanity held the key to its resolution. The Pathfinder's mission of exploration had become something far greater, a fight for survival, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. As Elena looked at her crew, she saw her own determination reflected in their eyes. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, carrying the hopes and ingenuity of all humanity with them. Little did they know, their greatest trials and triumphs were yet to come. The vast chamber of the Silvari conclave hummed with an otherworldly energy. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at its center, surrounded by her crew and an array of alien delegates that defied imagination. Holographic displays flickered around them, showing star systems, fleet movements, and incomprehensible data streams. "The situation is dire," intoned Zilax, the Silvari ambassador. Its form shimmered, barely containing the energy within. "The Nexaron collective grows stronger by the day, consuming entire civilizations. But you, humans, possess something unique, something that could turn the tide." Elena's mind raced. What could we possibly have that's so important? Zilax's eyes glowed with an inner light. "Your adaptability, your creativity in the face of overwhelming odds. But more specifically, your quantum entanglement drive." Lieutenant Chen stepped forward, his eyes wide. "But that's still experimental. We've only managed short-range jumps." "Yet it's more advanced than anything we've seen," Zilax replied. "Combined with Silvari biotechnology, it could be the key to defeating the collective." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. A new hologram sprang to life, showing a massive fleet emerging from hyperspace. "Nexaron War Fleet," shouted a Silvari technician. "They found us." Elena's training kicked in. "What are our defenses?" Zilax looked grim. "Our shields will hold, but not indefinitely. We need time to evacuate." Elena shared a look with her crew. They nodded, understanding passing between them without words. "We'll buy you that time," she declared. "Impossible," explained a reptilian delegate. "Your single ship against a war fleet." Elena smiled, a glint of steel in her eyes. "You haven't seen what humans can do when backed into a corner." Within minutes, the Pathfinder was racing towards the incoming Nexaron fleet. Elena stood on the bridge, her crew at their stations, determination etched on every face. "All right, people," Elena commanded. "Let's show the galaxy what humanity's made of. Chen, ready the quantum drive for multiple short jumps. Tanaka, weapons hot. We're going to hit them with everything we've got." The space around them lit up with weapons fire as the Nexaron fleet opened up. The Pathfinder danced between the beams, its hull screaming under the stress. "Now, Chen," Elena shouted. The quantum drive hummed to life, and suddenly they were behind the Nexaron fleet. Before the enemy could react, the Pathfinder unleashed a barrage of missiles, each one targeted at a different ship's propulsion system. "Jump," Elena ordered, and they blinked away just as return fire lanced through their previous position. For the next hour, the Pathfinder executed a dizzying series of jumps, appearing and disappearing around the Nexaron fleet. Each appearance brought another volley of precisely targeted attacks, slowly but surely crippling the massive war machines. Inside the Pathfinder, systems were overheating, circuits were frying, but the crew worked with a synchronicity that bordered on telepathic. Elena coordinated their efforts, her mind working in overdrive to stay 3 steps ahead of their adversaries. Just when it seemed they couldn't take any more, a new fleet appeared, Sylvari ships, their organic hulls pulsing with energy. They joined the fray, their advanced weapons tearing through the weakened Nexaran defenses. As the last Nexaran ship fell silent, cheers erupted across the comms. The Sylvari conclave had been saved, and humanity had proven its worth 100 times over. Back in the conclave chamber, Elena and her crew were hailed as heroes. Xilax approached them, its form glowing with admiration. In all our millennia of existence, it said, we have never seen such bravery, such ingenuity. The collective has never been defeated so soundly. It paused, seeming to come to a decision. Captain Rodriguez, we would like to formally invite humanity to join the Galactic Council. Your perspective, your adaptability, they are exactly what we need in these dark times. Elena looked at her crew, saw the pride and determination in their eyes. They had come seeking a new colony, and instead found a galaxy in peril. But isn't this what humanity had always done? Face the unknown, adapted, and emerged stronger. She turned back to Xilax, her decision made. Ambassador, on behalf of humanity, we accept. Whatever challenges the galaxy faces, we'll face them together. As Elena shook hands, or the nearest alien equivalent, with Xilax, she knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity was about to embark on its greatest adventure yet, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Battle of Nexus Prime. The vast expanse of space around Nexus Prime, the Nextaron Collective's stronghold, buzzed with tension. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the newly christened UES Defiant, Earth's first true warship. A year had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council, and in that time, they had revolutionized galactic warfare. All ships report in, Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. This battle would determine the fate of countless civilizations. As the Allied fleet sounded off, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the diversity. Sylvari bioships pulsed with ethereal energy, while crystalline Jorak vessels refracted starlight in dazzling patterns. And there, at the heart of the formation, was humanity's contribution, a fleet of ships that looked almost primitive compared to their allies, but held secrets that would change everything. Captain, Lieutenant Chen called out, Nextaran forces approaching. They've brought a world ship. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made even the seasoned alien commanders gasp. The Nextaron world ship was a monstrosity that defied comprehension, a planet-sized mass of writhing tentacles and pulsating flesh, studded with massive cannons and surrounded by swarms of smaller craft. Well, Elena said, a grim smile on her face, they certainly know how to make an entrance. All ships, initiate Operation Trojan Horse. As the words left her mouth, the human fleet sprang into action. The ships, which had appeared outdated and weak, suddenly began to change. Panels slid away, revealing cutting-edge weaponry that melded human ingenuity with alien technology. But the real surprise lay within. Mech teams, deploy, Elena ordered. From the belly of each human ship erupted dozens of mechanized suits, each piloted by a single human. These were the culmination of centuries of science fiction made reality. Nimble, heavily armed, and capable of operating in the vacuum of space. The alien allies watched in awe as the human mech squadrons rocketed towards the Nexaran forces. Unlike traditional ships, these mechs were nearly impossible for the collective to predict or control, their movements as erratic and creative as the humans piloting them. Sylvari fleet, initiate psychic barrier, Elena commanded. Jorak crystal ships, prepare for solar flare redirection. Human fleet, let's introduce them to the chaos we do best. The battle erupted in a symphony of destruction and innovation. Mech pilots darted between tentacles the size of cities, planting explosives and severing critical systems. Sylvari ships formed a massive psychic shield, protecting the Allied fleet from the world ship's mind-controlling pulses. Jorak vessels positioned themselves strategically, their crystalline structures focusing and redirecting the local star's energy into searing beams that carved through Nexaron defenses. But the collective was not easily defeated. A massive tentacle lashed out, wrapping around a human destroyer and crushing it. Swarms of bat-like creatures poured from the world ship, overwhelming entire squadrons. "We need to end this now," Elena muttered. Then, louder, "Initiate Project Pandora." From the depths of the UES, defiant rose a massive cannon, cobbled together from human and alien tech. It pulsed with an energy that made nearby sensors go haywire. "What is that?" gasped a Sylvari commander. Elena's eyes gleamed. "A little gift from humanity's collective imagination. We took every doomsday device our sci-fi authors ever dreamed up, made them real, and rolled them into one." The cannon fired, and for a moment, space itself seemed to warp. A beam of pure possibility lanced out, striking the world ship dead center. Where it hit, reality itself began to unravel. Portions of the massive entity began to age rapidly, while others reversed to a primordial state. Some sections vanished into miniature black holes, while others exploded into clouds of exotic particles. The Nexaron collective screamed, a psychic wail that echoed across the galaxy. Their world ship, the culmination of eons of conquest and assimilation, was being unmade before their eyes. As the world ship collapsed in on itself, the remaining Nexaron forces fell into disarray. Without the guiding intelligence of their central hub, they were easy prey for the Allied fleet. Hours later, as the dust of battle settled, Elena stood in the conference room of the UES Defiant, facing the holographic images of the Galactic Council. "Captain Rodriguez," the Sylvari overseer began, its voice filled with awe, "you and your people have done the impossible. The Nexaron threat, which has plagued our galaxy for millennia, has been neutralized." Elena nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. "We're proud to have played our part, Overseer, but this victory belongs to all of us. It was only by combining our strengths that we prevailed." The Jorak ambassador's crystalline form shimmered. "Perhaps, but it was humanity's unique approach that turned the tide. Your species' ability to imagine the impossible and then make it reality is unlike anything we've encountered." Elena smiled. "That's kind of our thing. We've spent our entire history dreaming up ways the world could end. Turns out, those same ideas can be pretty useful for saving it too." As the Council continued to debate the implications of the battle and humanity's role in the galaxy going forward, Elena gazed out at the star field. They had won a great victory today, but she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and terrors beyond imagination. But that was okay. If there was one thing humans excelled at, it was facing the unknown with a mix of terrified excitement and bull-headed determination. Whatever the galaxy threw at them next, humanity would be ready. As if reading her thoughts, Lieutenant Chen approached. "So, Captain," he said with a grin, "where to next?" Elena's eyes sparkled with the light of distant stars. "Everywhere, Lieutenant. We're going everywhere." Echoes of eternity. The celebration of victory over the Nexaron collective was short-lived. As the dust settled from the Battle of Nexus Prime, a new, more insidious threat emerged, one that challenged the very fabric of reality itself. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood before the Galactic Council, her face grim. The holographic displays around her showed scenes of chaos across the galaxy. Entire star systems were blinking out of existence, only to reappear moments later with altered histories. Cause and effect were becoming untethered, and the universe itself seemed to be unraveling. "The Pandora device," Elena explained, her voice heavy with the weight of unintended consequences. "When we used it to destroy the world ship, we didn't just unmake the Nexarons. We cracked open the boundaries between realities." The Sylvari Overseer's form flickered, a visual representation of the instability spreading through the cosmos. "How is this possible? Even our most advanced theories never predicted this level of dimensional instability." Elena took a deep breath. It's because your theories, advanced as they are based on the laws of physics as we understand them. But humanity, we've always imagined beyond those limits. The Pandora device didn't just harness energy or manipulate matter, it weaponized possibility itself. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of alarmed voices and frantic discussions. Elena waited for the noise to die down before continuing. But here's the thing, if we cause this, we can fix it. We just need to think bigger. The Zorak ambassador's crystalline form pulsed with skepticism. Bigger than unraveling the fabric of reality. What could possibly be bigger than that? Elena's eyes gleamed with determination. We rewrite the rules, not just of our universe, but of all universes. The silence that followed was deafening. Then, slowly, the Galactic Council began to nod. They had seen what humanity was capable of. If anyone could pull off the impossible, it was these strange, imaginative beings from Earth. Weeks later, Elena stood on the bridge of the UES Paradox, a ship unlike any other in the galaxy. It was a culmination of human ingenuity and alien technology designed to navigate the treacherous waters between realities. Status report, Elena commanded, her eyes fixed on the swirling maelstrom of fractured space-time before them. Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced across his console. The reality anchor is holding steady, Captain. Quantum fluctuations are within acceptable parameters. Good, Elena nodded. Tanaka, how's our special cargo doing? Ensign Tanaka glanced at a pulsing, otherworldly device at the center of the bridge. The imagination engine is stable, Captain. It's ready to broadcast on your command. Elena took a deep breath. This was it. Their plan was audacious, borderline insane, but it was their only hope. They were going to use the collective imagination of humanity, amplified and focused through alien technology, to rewrite the fundamental laws of the multiverse. All hands, brace for reality shift, Elena announced. Initiate Project Demiurge. The imagination engine hummed to life, its glow intensifying until it was painful to look at directly. Streams of data, the dreams, hopes, fears, and wild ideas of billions of humans flowed into it. The ship shuddered as it began to broadcast these thoughts across the dimensional rift. Outside the ship, reality began to twist and warp. Stars rearranged themselves into impossible configurations. Laws of physics bent and broke, only to reform in new, stranger ways. For a moment, the entire crew of the Paradox experienced every possible version of themselves simultaneously. Then, just as it seemed their minds would break under the strain, everything snapped back into focus. But it wasn't the same focus as before. The universe, all universes, had been fundamentally altered. As the crew regained their bearings, reports began flooding in from across the galaxy. The dimensional instabilities were gone. More than that, new laws of physics had taken hold, laws that allowed for the impossible to become merely improbable, and the improbable to become commonplace. Elena slumped in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. They had done it. Humanity had rewritten reality itself. In the days that followed, the implications of their actions became clear. Faster-than-light travel was now as simple as stepping sideways. Telepathy was no longer the domain of a few species, but a baseline ability for all sentient life. Energy could be created and destroyed, but only if you asked it politely. The Galactic Council convened once more, this time with Elena and her crew as honored members. The Sylvari Overseer's voice was filled with awe as it addressed them. Humans of Earth, it began, you have reshaped the very foundations of existence. In doing so, you have ushered in a new age of possibility for all life in the cosmos. Elena nodded, feeling the weight of their accomplishment. We did what we had to do. It's what humans have always done, face the impossible, and find a way to make it work. As the council began to discuss the implications of this new reality, Elena's mind was already racing ahead. With the boundaries between imagination and reality blurred, what other adventures awaited them? What new challenges would arise in this rewritten cosmos? One thing was certain, Humanity was no longer just a part of the galactic community. They were its architects, its dreamers, its demiurges, and the greatest adventure was just beginning. As Elena gazed out at the transformed stars, a smile played on her lips. "Well, universe," she whispered, "what impossibility shall we make possible next?" The multiversal singularity. The rewritten cosmos thrummed with newfound energy. Impossibilities had become everyday occurrences, and the boundaries between thought and reality had blurred to near non-existence. But as Captain Elena Rodriguez was about to discover, even godlike power comes with a price. Elena stood on the bridge of the UES paradox, staring at a holographic display that defied comprehension. It showed not just their universe, but countless others, the entire multiverse laid bare before them. "Captain," Lieutenant Chen called out, his voice trembling, "we're detecting something. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Elena's eyes narrowed as she studied the display. Amidst the swirling galaxies and alternate realities, a void was growing. Not just an absence of matter, but an absence of existence itself. "What are we looking at, Chen?" Elena asked, her mind racing to grasp the incomprehensible. It's like a black hole, but for reality itself," Chen replied. "It's consuming entire universes, erasing them from existence, and it's growing exponentially." The Silvari ambassador, now a permanent fixture on the paradox, chimed in. "This is beyond anything we've encountered. It seems that in rewriting the laws of reality, we've created a multiversal singularity." Elena's heart sank. They had saved their universe, only to endanger the entire multiverse. "Can we stop it?" she asked, already knowing the answer. The Jorak science officer's crystalline form pulsed with anxiety. "Negative, Captain. This singularity operates on a level beyond even our new laws of physics. It's sentient, adaptive. Every solution we simulate, it counters before we can implement it." Elena closed her eyes, feeling the weight of not just one universe, but all universes on her shoulders. Then, a crazy idea struck her. "Wait a second," she said, a glimmer of hope in her voice. "If this thing is adapting to our solutions, what if we stop trying to solve it?" The bridge crew looked at her in confusion. Elena continued, her excitement growing. "Think about it. We rewrote reality using human imagination. What's the one thing humans are better at than solving problems?" Chen's eyes widened in realization. "Creating them." Elena nodded, a fierce grin on her face. "Exactly. We're going to outthink this thing by not thinking at all. We're going to bombard it with the most illogical, nonsensical ideas humanity has ever conceived." What followed was perhaps the strangest battle in the history of the multiverse. The UES paradox became a beacon of absurdity, broadcasting waves of pure, unadulterated human weirdness into the singularity. They threw everything at it: paradoxical thoughts, impossible geometries, and concepts so bizarre they made even the ship's AI giggle. They transmitted the collected works of surrealist artists, time-travel romance novels, and conspiracy theories so wild they looped back around to making sense. The singularity faltered, unable to adapt to the sheer illogic of it all. But it wasn't enough. The void continued to grow, albeit slower. "It's not working," Tanaka called out, desperation in her voice. Elena gritted her teeth. "Then we need to go bigger. Chen, prepare for a full reality dive. We're going in." The crew looked at her in shock. A reality dive would mean immersing their consciousness directly into the raw stuff of existence. It was theoretical, dangerous, and completely insane. In other words, it was perfectly human. As the paradox plunged into the heart of the singularity, reality itself began to unravel around them. The crew's consciousness expanded, merging with the ship, with each other, with the very fabric of the multiverse. In that moment of cosmic unity, humanity's greatest strength shone through. Not their problem-solving, not their technology, but their ability to embrace the absurd, to laugh in the face of oblivion. Elena, now one with the multiverse, reached out with her mind, and she did the most human thing possible. She told a joke. Not just any joke, but a joke so profound, so multi-layered, that it encompassed every possible punchline in every possible universe. A joke that was simultaneously the funniest and most groan-worthy thing ever conceived. The singularity paused, confusion rippling through its impossible form. Then, against all logic, it began to laugh. Reality shuddered, universes trembled, and in that moment of cosmic mirth, the singularity lost its coherence. The void collapsed in on itself, leaving behind a swirling nebula of newborn universes, each one sprung from a different interpretation of the ultimate joke. As the crew of the Paradox regained their individual forms, they found themselves changed. They had touched the infinite and returned, bringing with them a perspective that transcended mere mortal understanding. Elena, her eyes now swirling with the colors of newfound universes, addressed her crew, and through them, all of humanity. "We came to the brink of multiversal annihilation," she said, her voice resonating across dimensions, "and we saved existence itself with a joke. If that's not humanity in a nutshell, I don't know what is." As news of their victory spread across the cosmos, a new age dawned. Humanity, once newcomers to the galactic stage, now stood as the saviors of the multiverse. Their unique blend of creativity, adaptability, and embrace of the absurd had quite literally reshaped reality. The Galactic Council, now expanded to include representatives from alternate realities, convened to discuss the path forward, but Elena's mind was already racing ahead to the next adventure. For in saving the multiverse, they had glimpsed something even greater, a level of existence beyond the multiverse itself, a place where stories became reality, and reality was just another story waiting to be told. As the Paradox prepared to embark on this new, meta-cosmic journey, Elena couldn't help but smile. Whatever lay ahead, humanity would face it the same way they always had, with determination, creativity, and a readiness to laugh in the face of the impossible. The ultimate adventure was just beginning, and humanity was ready to write the next chapter in the never-ending story of existence itself.